protein should I take in a day? That's for you, quirky girl. We got our fans out. Fans out, guns out, suns out. We're going to talk about protein, particularly if you're on a GLP-1 weight loss journey like myself. I've lost over 112 pounds the last 2 years, 9 months plus of being on a GLP-1. And on today's episode, I'm going to deep dive into how much protein should someone have. Obviously, this is not medical advice. This is simply my experience, strength, and hope of what's worked really well for me from somebody who is, I feel like, doing well. I feel free. You know, I always not feel free. I always want you to take a healthcare provider. My videos are to prompt you to talk to your healthcare provider or dietitian. I have sought wise counsel. I always encourage viewers to seek wise counsel. Hopefully these videos spark for you to go talk to the right person who has the credentials in the background. I recommend a dietitian because they have usually master's degrees associated with it and that higher level of education to help guide us through. So I'm going to reference some studies. I'll link all of my information as always. Per the usual. I was trying to get the snapping down. Quirky girl wanted me to incorporate a fan in my video. So there we go. It's our protein fan, honey. Into our video. So basically what the gist is, and then I'm going to go through with the scientific studies. Some of you, this is going to be less. Some of you, it's going to be more. The science and the data, that's betwixt you and your healthcare provider. So don't get angry at the messenger. Sometimes people become keyboard warriors of like, okay, I didn't make your renal failure or your kidney issues that you have to have less protein. It's not. I'm just telling you what worked really well for me and hopefully to help motivate, encourage, and inspire you to go further, faster, better, stronger. So what the answer is, how much protein per day should one have on a GLP-1 diet is 55 grams of protein to 68 grams of protein per pound per day. So basically what that equates to, let me pull up some good old fashioned math here. If you're 155 pounds or 150 pounds for the 155, the lower end of this spectrum, that's 82.5 grams of protein per day. If you want the higher end of the spectrum, which my dietitian, because I am weight training, told me I needed to do, she really wants me in that higher ballpark. That is 102 grams of protein. You see what I'm saying? If, say, you weigh 180 pounds times 55 grams of protein, the lower end of that is 99 grams of protein per day. To 68 grams of protein, 0.68 for a 180 pound person, that's 122 grams of protein per day. So this is where, let's keep going. If you weigh 200 pounds times 55 grams of protein per day, that's 110 grams of protein per day. If you want to do the higher end of the spectrum for a 200-pound person, it's 136 grams of protein. And as you go through weight loss, you should readjust and recalibrate. You should recalibrate that. So you can see right there, for me, I have, because of weight training, things like that, minimum is 100, really to like 135. My sweet spot's 125 because I'm lifting so much. And so I'm sharing this with you because if you start breaking down and you've not had a high protein diet before and you're like 125 grams of protein, okay, I'm going to test that out. Let's go test that out. For me, I tested that out and I was like, I'm hitting 50 grams of protein in a day. I strongly recommend tracking it on an app. For me, I use the free one, MyFitnessPal, because it's free and it's easy and I like it. And it has most of the foods that I want, particularly if I do eat out. And so I was hitting 50 grams of protein, 60 grams of protein, thinking I was hot stuff. And no, until I got to this measurements of like, no, like 125 grams of protein per day is quite a bit. And if you divide that out per meal, and you have 4 meals, that's more than 30 grams of protein. And so getting that in and hitting that, I have found to be quite challenging of like, oh my gosh, how do you do this? So I've got the breakdown of how much you should have per day. You can take this formula. I'll put it also, by the way, I'll put it in, I'll make sure that the count puts it in countessofshopping.com/group. We'll make it a thread in there so that way you can have reference to this too if you're a tactile visual learner. But it's 55 grams to 68 grams per pound for your protein per day. And that's your total grams of protein per day that you should have. And I don't want to should on anybody. So take it or leave it, take what you want, leave the rest. From this whole video, I'm going to share a bunch of stuff with you. You take what works for you. We're all not the same. And so obesity is a very wide spectrum to jump through and a large hoop to jump through. So there's many, many, many different ways to do this. In my free encouragement group, we have vegans, we have vegetarians, we have people who are carnivore, we have people who are keto, we have people who are low carb, we have people who eat out most of their meals, we have people who cook in most of their meals. Like, there is such a wide way to do this. What I want you to do is find what works best for your beautiful self and what makes the most sense for you to be better, faster, stronger, right? And so for me, I've been getting legs on this theory of better, faster, stronger through finding what works well for me. And so I've got a bunch of tips. Okay, so let's dive in. There was a study done. This is my sources from healthline.com. It was a very small study. It was only 40 people. So like, that's a very small sample size. So take that for what it's worth. But it was researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital and Harvard Medical School in Boston presented this July 12th at ENDO 2025, the Endocrine Society annual meeting in San Francisco. And what they found, I found this study fascinating, and hopefully this will help motivate you. And then we're going to talk about how you take this airy fairy pie in the sky idea and like actually apply it to our lives. So stay tuned. That part's coming. I got a bunch of stuff behind me and over here that we're going to talk, like actual meals I pulled out of my refrigerator too. So the report in that study of 40 people who lost weight with semaglutide, so that's Wegovy, Ozempic, compared those who lost weight with just conventional diet and exercise. After 3 months, so 90 days, the semaglutide group lost more weight than the conventional group. The percentage of weight loss that was lean mass was similar between the two groups. So it's similar. We get a bad rap. We always talk about we lose muscle mass loss. That's not just a GLP-1 thing. That's for weight loss in general. So when you hear muscle mass loss, if you're losing that muscle mass loss, that's one of the reasons though why we should be weight training. Hello. We'll talk about that for another day though. Participants receiving the semaglutide who lost more muscle mass than the others. This was the important part. They lost more muscle mass than the others were, do you want to guess the 3 categories? Elder females, fiddlesticks, I just blew it. It was older adults, females, and then those who ate less protein following their weight loss protocol. Bing, 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 bing. So again, this was 40 people. So like, we got to keep that in context. However, it's fascinating. For me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that piece of information. Older adults, females, I'm like, okay, I fall into those categories. And those who ate less protein while following a weight loss protocol. Older adults and women may be more likely to lose muscle mass on semaglutide, but eating more protein will help protect us against this, is the lead researcher, Dr. Melanie Hines, a neuroendocrinologist from Massachusetts General Hospital, said in the news release. That noted that muscle loss undermines blood sugar management. A critical, not just a little, but a critical mechanism in maintaining bone density and our strength. I'm working on that. She is working on this muscle. Bone density. We won't want to sneeze and break a hip. You don't want to accidentally belch and like tear your rotator cuff. Is rotator cuff a bone? I feel like maybe, I don't know. Clearly my medical degree is coming in handy. Okay, so while promising, these results have not been published, so we've got to take it for what it's worth. Again, I never want to be, it would be the bane of my existence to spread misinformation. It would literally make me want to crawl in my skin. While promising, these results have not yet been published in peer-reviewed scientific journal and may warrant further investigation. That's how we get in these pickles that we get into by false information. So it needs to be peer-reviewed. However, for me, this is Countess of Shopping opinion, I take that protein part because there's other pieces that all roads lead to Rome, in my opinion, of the data that I'm seeing and the research that I'm seeing, is prior research has suggested GLP-1 drugs on weight loss can reduce muscle mass and bone density and lowering resting metabolic rate. And this can lead to, this disease called, sarcopenia. Oh, I wasn't going to mispronounce it today. Not today, honey. Not today. No sarcopenia. I gotta get better at my fan popping. We're going to work on it. I need all my gays to come help me with my proper fan popping there. Okay, so that's muscle mass loss is the sarcopenia. oh shoot, I already said it wrong now.
Sarcopenia.
Sarcopenia. So it led to sarcopenia, which is muscle mass loss, strength, and function. And so the bariatric surgery, there's a bariatric surgery doctor explained that muscle is more easily lost during weight loss than fat. And so disproportionately high percentage of muscle loss is a direct consequence of higher metabolic requirements of muscle in comparison fat. So I feel like the next part of this, now that we have this information of what we need to, how many grams of protein we need to have per day, it's also going to help your appetite suppression. And from somebody who was like struggling to do like 50 to 60 grams of protein per day, I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was trying so hard and I could not hit more than that. Appetite suppression may impact your protein intake. And so keeping this in mind, for me, I always say, I'm gonna say it again, if you're on a GLP-1 medication, for me, my peak appetite suppression is 24 to 48 hours after taking my shot. So in that period, I'm probably not going to hit my protein, or I'm going to hit the lower ballpark of this protein, probably lower end. But I can take it on the other days of where I have higher appetite suppression on day 5, which is half-life dose, day 5, day 6, day 7, and eat more protein on those days. And so I love Accountant Jamie. I always credit her because she was the brilliant person who talked to me about this concept about a week-long average for our calorie deficit and for I'm lumping in protein and I'm lumping in our daily steps of making it an average for the week. And so I want to share that with you if you're finding you're not eating enough. Now, here's the other part, just for sidebar for GLP-1 folks. If you're not eating enough day after day after day after day, that is a major conversation you need to have with your healthcare provider. And you're going to want to watch yesterday's video, the video that came out on Sunday, September 7th. Go watch that. So they talk about, I believe that was the appetite suppression. No, that was on doses. I beg your pardon. It was then on Saturday. It was the one that I talk about appetite suppression. It was a couple days ago. It wasn't yesterday. Forgive me. It wasn't Sunday, September 7th. That one was on dosage, which was a really good video. Watch that one after this if you haven't watched it. So going over and talking about the appetite suppression, if you're hungry, the protein's going to help you. If you're getting full, figuring out strategies for that, which we're going to talk about too. Okay, next. The FDA recommends, do you want to know how much the FDA recommends in terms of adults of how many protein grams per day they should be eating? 50 grams of protein per day. Wrong! No. I don't know. That may not be wrong for some people. Like, okay, wrong! You should pop the fan. I'm going to try to work on this. Quirky Girl had suggested this. I got to get better at my fan popping. I don't think it's wrong. We talked to the healthcare provider. For me, that's not enough. Also, to give context, because context matters, I am almost 6 feet tall in weight training, right? And so that's important. That's an important part of this conversation. So there was this great, I'm going to go back over here, this great NIH study that I want to reference to. It was the National Library of Medicine, it's the National Institutes of Health, the National Library of Medicine. Oh my gosh, there's these wacko disclaimers on there. Okay, I'm going to go with the science evidence-based data. The evidence-based data on this article that was written, it was written on October 2024. Really good article. And it's talking about protein in here, specifically dietary intake for patients taking GLP-1 and dual GLP-1 GIP, which that is, the dual one is ZEPBOUND or mounjaro or Tirzepatide, same things. And it's talking in there about the reduction of overall dietary intake while taking medications, GLP-1 medications, or like ZEPBOUND, WEGOVY, mounjaro, SEMAGLUTIDE, may contribute to shortfalls in micronutrient intake, while lower protein intake may not be sufficient to sustain muscle health. So where do we go back to? All roads lead to Rome, and so are muscles. Yeah, I just want to keep showing off my muscles. And my Golden Girls t-shirt too. So all roads lead to Rome on that. So so that was one part of the study. Let me get to the next part that I thought was so fascinating. I'm like, you go NIH with your study. Pooled data from both groups showed significant reduction in carbohydrate, protein, and fat intake. And with that, it was talking about dietitians walking people through these studies. Let me leap over to that part because I thought it was really good. Given the vital role protein plays in maintaining muscle health and function, the quantity And quality of protein intake is especially important to monitor. So this is where we're talking about, we talk about quantity, so that gram part of how much protein should I be having per day, but the quality of that protein in there. That to me is also fascinating. I'm like, okay, let's keep pulling back the next layer of the onion, honey. Going through and talking about outside people with type 2 diabetes and muscle mass loss in older adults is associated with poor outcomes, including poor physical function, poor quality of life, and reduced survival. Therefore, adequate protein is emphasized to support muscle health. So, poor quality of life and reduced survival. You've been voted off the island, honey. Like, adequate protein is emphasized to support muscle health. I was on an airplane last week. I was in Austin, Texas. I'm leaving to go to New York Fashion Week. I'll be on an airplane again. You know what I do every time I get on an airplane? And I get so excited. It's Bruno Mars was the song I was thinking of, which you guys told me in the comments in the other video. It was like, kiss myself, I'm so pretty. Hot damn, bum, 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 bum. That one. Kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I picked my suitcase up and I put it in above my head in the airplane. And I was sitting in my seat and someone walked by and asked the amazing flight attendant, hey, will you put my suitcase up? And she says, no, I'm not. Flight attendants aren't allowed to do that. And I knew that. I was like, flight attendants aren't allowed to do that. And she says to me, she goes, also, why would I want, like, I don't want to injure myself, because she was injured. She's like, I'm not injuring myself either. And I'm like, I know, I wouldn't either. But I was so proud of myself because and not this poor woman, she was injured or whatever. I have no idea what the story was, and God bless and sending love and amazing grace. But for me, there was a time I could not lift my suitcase over my head, is why I'm saying this story. It's not to bash this other woman, but for me, it's to keep in mind that I want to do these basic functions, going back to poor quality of life. Putting a suitcase on over my head is not poor quality of life. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is it will lead to poor quality of life. And you and I can both connect the dots of what that looks like. I kind of actually feel like I know, weighing over 300 pounds, of what poor quality of life is. So I don't necessarily need to connect the dots in there too much with it. It's enough for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna eat the daggone protein. So inadequate protein intake to maintain muscle mass, strength, and function. And incorporating high protein foods and meal replacement products to support weight reduction and glycemic improvement compared to standard behavior modifications. And so the Obesity Medicine Association, OMA, published management guidelines on nutrition, physical activity, behavior therapy, and then like pharmaceutical therapy as well. And so it goes through and it's talking in here, basically the summary of it is, what are the changes occur in dietary intake patterns for these patients, especially in diet quality? And are patients meeting macronutrient needs, especially in protein? And so this is where we're going to chime in with some of my examples of like, here's all this information. That's great. But if you don't apply it, then you haven't learned anything. And what I want you to do is walk away from this video and be like, Elizabeth, I kissed myself. I'm so pretty. Hot. I shouldn't have said the DAM word. Sorry. If you have kids watching, my apology. Hot dang. Call the police and the firemen. Hot dang. Okay, I'm gonna work on that next time. My apologies though if children were listening and they heard that. I try not, in my real life I cuss, but on here I try not to even say that word. So I apologize. But the whole point in which I'm trying to show you guys is some of the things literally out of my refrigerator. You wanna see my refrigerator? Here's one. We grilled steaks earlier today. So these were in my freezer. They've been in my freezer for months. I'm like, they need to get out of the freezer. So we grilled them tonight. They smell delicious. They were good. Great source of protein. Guess what I'm gonna have? We had that for dinner. And tomorrow they'll be my lunch for my kid, myself, and my hot husband. My hot husband may not want it. I told him, if you don't want it, then that's on you. I've got it in there. We had this yesterday. The Count is supposed to have it tonight for dinner. But he'll just eat it tomorrow at some point. Chicken shawarma. It's chicken shawarma from Wegmans. You know how Wegmans near it's a grocery store? Some grocery stores have like these protein bowls. It's quinoa, or you can get it with vegetables if you don't want the quinoa. It's 800 calories for this whole thing, which is why he ate half of it. So then it's only 400 calories, but it's got a crazy amount of protein. The protein tag got ripped off, but I know off the top of my head, this is a high protein bowl. You can get these from Chipotle. There's a bunch of places, and I have a whole playlist of what I eat on ZepBound and GLP-1 medication. go watch those. Panda Express, Kava. I mean, there's a ton of places. So if you need to take out stuff, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next, I went and I had ordered, I talked about this on another video, but I had ordered 99% lean turkey. I cooked it and I made it tacos. This will probably go in the freezer because I have too many proteins. And this goes back to the, oh, that's, I don't like the way that smells. I'm still weird about some foods. That smells gross to me, but I've got my turkey in there. Those will be wraps. Maybe for tomorrow night's dinner. I got tzatziki, the Greek sauce. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing that too again, I think. Forgive me. But the Greek sauce, tzatziki, yogurt. It's low calories, high protein. Or not high protein, but it's got protein in it. I'll put that on a low calorie wrap. Boom. Or you can put on like a lettuce wrap, or you can just put on a regular wrap. This is a great source of 99% lean. I like that. Some of you don't. You don't need to tell me how you don't like it. I like it. To me, it tastes good. So I'm giving you examples so you can figure out what you like so you can implement some of these tactics in your everyday life. It won't become theory. It will become part of our lifestyle changes. Because the whole point that they tell us in our literature with our GLP-1 medications is making permanent sustainable lifestyle changes. Next. These I got from Costco, but you can get them, I think, a lot of places. Amy Lou maple chicken patties. These things are amazing. Now, the packaging they come in grosses me out. It comes in these like not freeze-dried, but vacuum sealed, and they're squishy. So I do like to put on my little rubber gloves when handling it. I don't like to fondle the squishiness of it. But these are great. 2 patties, which is quite a bit actually, is 160 calories and 14 grams of protein. That is awesome. That is awesome. So I forget how many ounces that is, but it's quite a bit actually. So pairing that in. Next thing. Other examples. See, I brought up this whole tray for you guys to show you guys my awesome ideas. This one also from Costco. Chicken crumbles with mango chutney. It has in here 150 calories for a half of a cup, 13 grams of protein. Now the chutney syrup or jam, mango chutney on there, this chutney, 25 calories. And it's got sugar, 5 grams of sugar. But you could have it without the chutney on there. If you just wanted to have it and put it in a wrap or put it as a pizza. Look, they made it a yogurt pizza. Like, there's so many different ways you can do this. You just have to figure out what works for you. So this is like real food. Real food. Now I have my eggs back here. If you want to take out a second mortgage getting some eggs, feel free. These are our little eggs that just came from my Instacart order. My second mortgage for my eggs. But however you like your eggs. Are they over easy? Are they over medium? Are they scrambled? Are they boiled? Are they hard boiled? Are they over, like, there's so many different ways you can do this. I like with eggs that you gotta figure out works well for you. If that is too hard for you, we've got teacher, for example, my beautiful Debbie. Debbie is a teacher. And Debbie's like, it's like, life is life. And with some people's jobs, I work out of my home. So it's easier for me to do this stuff. But it's, as I'm filming this is on Sunday, and I did this, so on Monday, it's crazy, and I leave for New York Fashion Week. I wanted to have stuff here at my house for my family. Because I'm like the one who's in charge of food, feeding these people. So, but having some other supplements for me, I could not have supplements. I couldn't. I love Clean Simple Eats, their protein shakes. The Count and I are obsessed. The Count's favorite ones from Clean Simple Eats, he's a chocolate man. He loves the brownie batter. He loves the mint chocolate chip. He loves the cookies and cream. He had that one earlier today. I love the snickerdoodle. I love the cake batter. I love the vanilla. There's one, eggnog, maple donut, but the maple donut and the eggnog are seasonal. They have a new pumpkin one. That's delicious. Like, am I missing one? I feel like I'm missing. There's another favorite of mine. I'm like, what am I missing that's my favorites? So highly recommend. You can use the discount code CLEAN. I'll link the link down below. They have pure protein. If you don't like protein powder with milk. By the way, my hot husband does 1 cup of whole milk in his. I do a half a cup of whole milk and half a cup of water just to cut down on calories, but that's an option. Next option, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm going to link it on my Amazon shopping link down below. But these edamame beans, the ranch ones, in my humble opinion, taste the best, but they have sriracha. They're edamame beans packed with high protein. They have this little pack here. This little light of mine is 125 calories and 11 grams of protein. So they're nice because they're shelf stable. You can put them in your pocketbook if you're traveling, if you're in the car, if your kids have sports, for your kids' lunch. Our kids should also be having protein too. My son's an athlete. And so I'm cognizant now of making sure he's getting protein as well. I'm like, gosh, I don't think I'm doing it. Like a month or two ago, my husband and I had a come to Jesus conversation of like, I don't think we're giving him as much protein as probably his body needs. And so we've really been focusing on that for him. I also love Bioptimizer's chocolate protein shake. Their chocolate protein breakthrough. I'll link that down below. In terms of muscle recovery, Magnesium Breakthrough, the studies with their 7 types of magnesium for muscle recovery, highly recommend. There had been a bundle sale going on. I'm not sure if it still is. I will link the link down below, but bioptimizers.com/queen, QUEEN. You can always save with my discount code on that. But muscle recovery, particularly if you're trying to help with your muscle mass loss, with the Bioptimizers, I take 2 magnesium breakthroughs about an hour or 2 before I go to bed. And it makes a difference for me now. If I don't take it before I go to bed, I can tell when my sleep is not as good. It's not as good. And also my legs don't feel, because I'm working out so much, it makes a difference in keeping my legs a little bit more relaxed as opposed to tightening. I can feel the muscle recovery with it for sure now at this point. What else? If you don't want to mix protein, Clean Elite has clear protein cans. They're back in stock. They have clear protein if you don't want milk in it, and or maybe you have what's it called, lactose intolerant. They have clear protein. It's back in stock, by the way. The watermelon, the sour watermelon, and it's the pink. It's the pink Starburst, pink burst. It tastes like a pink Starburst. It's good. That one also is delicious. Those just some ideas. Here, another one. I actually ordered some more for myself of these instant bone broth ones. I'll link this on my Amazon shopping list. You can use my Amazon shopping list. People are always like, how do I support your channel? If you use my affiliate links, that would be awesome, but there's also no pressure on that. But if you choose to buy them, I would love them if you just clicked on my link at no cost to you. But these are the bare bones, and I'm gonna, because it's getting colder here in Virginia, the best time of the year between now and January 1st. But it's 10 grams of protein, 5 grams of collagen, easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's another great way to get protein in. There's protein chips. They're like, there's so much stuff. There's so much stuff. My Prothies. Y'all know I've been talking about my protein coffees. It's another great, easy way with, I use espresso. I don't use like coffee. I like espresso decaf shots in there mixed with the protein shakes. It's delicious. That's an easy way to get it in. Protein bars, my Built bars. These, you can use the discount code. I think it's Queen25. It will be in the description link below. These are also great. These have, I forget how much protein's in here. 15 grams of protein with only 160 calories. Now, typically it should be like 10 grams of protein for 100 calories. So if it was 160 calories, it should be roughly 16 grams of protein. This is 15 grams of protein. It's just to kind of keep that percentage like that in mind in terms of food. But when I'm eating my meals, I know if I'm trying to hit 125 grams of protein, like that's where I need to be hitting. My lowest is 105, but really what I should be hitting and striving for, and I have a higher range than that, but that's what my dietitian would like me to hit. The 125, if I'm having 4 meals, how much grams of protein is that? I'm trying to do the math. I'm like, wait a minute, that's 30 grams of protein, more than 30 grams of protein. And so that is hard, hence the supplements, right? Or if you're in a space, like if I'm on an airplane, I had choices and I got cheese enchiladas. There weren't that many choices to get that had high protein stuff, right? And so when I'm traveling, I just know that I'm not gonna have as much protein. I'll make it on the back end before I leave or when I return home on the back end. So this is where, when we know better, we do better. And so incorporating these things and tricks and trade into our lifestyle, that for me has been really helpful, knowing what I'm gonna eat. What do I have do I actually then have it in my refrigerator? And then incorporating that in. So I hope that this has helped you in some capacity, get a clearer focus on where you want to take the next leg of your journey, the next month as we walk through fall, or if you're watching this in the summertime, like the next quarter, where do you want to take your weight loss journey and your health journey? for me, learning these skill sets has been challenging. Hence the containers over here too of like, okay, I know I have to on Sunday make protein or else it doesn't work out well for me. And I'm trying to eat out as I gotta sneeze. I'm sorry, friends. Whew. Excuse me. Excuse me. I sneezed thrice. There's another one coming. It's taken me a while to learn how to do this. And so I'm trying to not eat out as much because I am traveling so much this month. I'm trying to cut back when I am home from travel, not to eat out. Hence the reason for cooking these things. So I hope that this helps you. I think the bottom line is there's no better and no worse way to do this. I think sometimes people get on their high horse and my way is superior. No, it's not, boo. It's superior for you. It works for you. And that makes me so happy that you found what works for you. And that's my whole goal. There's no superiority in terms of how we do this. It's what works best for you within your lifestyle. And I do see this going back off on that same thread of some people of different socioeconomic backgrounds too, of keeping that in mind. You do the best you can with what you have. I grew up in a single parent household. So like, I get it. I get it. And so some people have made comments on some of my videos, and I know that that's a them thing and not a me thing, but I feel like I still need to say it, is that you do the best you can with the resources you have, and what works for you and figuring that out. I've had cans of tuna before, like those like from the dollar store. I've gone through like a long time ago, but I also understand too. And so do the best we can with the resources that we have, right? If you are vegetarian, vegan, I didn't even mention like almond butters, peanut butter, things like that. That's also another way to get protein in too. Beans, if you're a vegetarian and vegan. In my free encouragement group, there is a whole thread, you can just type search into it, of where people are talking about like I said vegetarian proteins. No, because whey is from, it was plant-based protein. That's what I was trying to say. Of people rating those. I don't have crazy experience, strength, and hope with that. I do know that Bioptimizers, if you are, Bioptimizers is gluten-free and vegan for their protein breakthrough. So that is something for you if you're vegan or vegetarian. This is, I recommend. And you can use my discount code. I'll link it down below. So I hope this helps. I hope this fuels you to focus in today what you're eating. I know for me it has. I know, let me just pull up because the day is done. I've done my calories I'm done eating. Kitchen's closed. I've had 1,758 calories for the day. Let me go over to my protein and 150 grams of protein. So I've exceeded my goal substantially. A lot of that was also through supplementation. One more thing to talk about supplementation, and I'm mindful of the time, I've talked a lot in this video, is fiber. If you're eating more protein, you need to eat the fiber. I should have mentioned this earlier, or you're going to be constipated up the yin yang, which is also why I talk about Bioptimizer's magnesium breakthrough. That I don't have constipation issues even eating a lot of protein because of Bioptimizer's magnesium breakthrough, 2 of their pills per day. So making sure you have leafy green vegetables, fruits, like vegetables and fruits, get that fiber in, or have things like chia seeds, like there's certain fiber things, flaxseed, like there's certain fiber things that can, in addition to things like magnesium breakthrough, obviously before taking any supplement, talk to your own healthcare provider. But yeah, I would not be a good friend if I didn't mention about the increased protein. Be aware that that can lead to constipation and block you up. So unblock that. Unblock it, honey. Our emoji of the day today is going to be a fan. I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care. Our question of the day is, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goal? And I am going to work on popping this fan. Popping it and locking it. Oh, that was a good one. But then I need to grab it better. And then I got to bring it in here like this. You know why I got this? It was from Pretty Girl recommended, but Gilded Age. You guys know I love Gilded Age. I'm obsessed with that TV show. If you haven't watched it, it's amazing. It's really good on HBO Max. I got HBO Max just to watch that show. It's so good. Okay, my sweet friends, we said our emoji of the day. Our question of the day, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? And I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care. I will also pray over you with that. If you don't believe in prayer, I will uplift you in positive thought, as all are welcome at the Countess of Shopping table. Unless you're Maine, and then you're not welcome. You can keep on rolling down the street. I love you guys so much. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. Love ya. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.